Hello everyone, my name is Faraz Pervaiz and I am a Pakistani Christian. Pakistan Penal Code Section 295C is today the most controversial and the blood-soaked law in the country. Before examining this deadly Islamic law in detail, it is important to understand how these so-called religious offense laws develop in Islamic Republic of Pakistan. Many people believe these laws were only introduced by the military dictator General Zia-ul Haq 1980s. However, a deep look reveals that these laws are rooted in a long history of Islamic intolerance stretching back to the British colonial period in Indian subcontinent. The Pakistan Penal Code contains several sections related to religious offenses. These include use of religious titles, desecration of the Quran, wounding feelings of the Muslim, and insulting their Prophet Muhammad. Each section has its own definition of a crime and punishment. 1860 British Penal Code arrives in subcontinent. Before British rules, there was no clear codified law on blasphemy. The British introduced the Indian Penal Code for the first time, Section 295, desecration of religious places, and Section 298, wounding religious feelings, were added. 1927, the Rangila Rasool case. In 1924, and a book titled Rangila Rasool was published in Lahore, written by Arya Samaj members as the response to the Muslims' attack on Hindu scriptures. The book mocked the Muhammad's wives' personal sexual life and his crime against humanity. Muslims were enraged. The publisher, Mahashe Rajpal, was taken to the court but acquitted because the existing law was too weak that time. On 6 April 1929, a Muslim man named Ilmuddin stabbed Rajpal to death. The British government responded by introducing Section 295A, which criminalized insult to religious feelings by words, sign, or visible representation. From 1953 to 1974, the persecution of the Muslim minority group started. In 1953, the movement Tehreek Khatme Nabuwat reached its peak, especially in Punjab, under the leadership of Maulana Madudi and other Muslim mullahs. Massive riots erupted against the Muslim minority group. Hundreds were killed in Lahore. A judicial commission was formed, but its recommendations were ignored at that time. In 1974, under the heavy pressure from the Islamic parties, Prime Minister Zulfikar Ali Bhutto amended the constitution and declared the Muslim minority group as non-Muslims. Zia-ul Haq, more his era was more, very Islamic. He introduced more Islamic law after the overthrowing Bhutto's General Zia-ul Haq aggressively pushed Islamization to please the Sunni majority. He introduced Ordinance XX, adding Section 298B and 298C, which banned the Muslim minority group from using Islamic titles, calling themselves Muslims, or preaching their Islam. He also introduced Section 295B, which prescribed life imprisonment for blasphemy the Quran. In 1984 to 1986, death penalty for the blasphemy. In 1984, advocate Muhammad Ismail Qureshi petitioned the federal Sharia court demanding that death penalty for blasphemy against the Islamic prophet Muhammad. As a result, in 1986, a private bill was moved to the parliament demanding the death penalty for anyone who insult Islamic prophet Muhammad. The bill was passed with support from both Islamic parliament and the ordinary Muslims. It was not merely Zia's order, it had the backing of elected member of Islamic scholar. In 1991, the federal Sharia court, in the response Ismail's Qureshi petition, declared that the only punishment for the blasphemy against Muhammad is a death, with no option of life imprisonment and no possibility of pardon. This remains the law till today. The Christians of Pakistan continue to live in constant fear because of these Islamic blasphemy laws. False accusation, mob violence, and judicial persecution have turned their life into living hell. Churches are burned, homes are destroyed, and innocent Christians are murdered in broad daylight, often with the full support of local mosques and mullahs. Not a single Muslim attacker is ever punished by the Pakistani courts. This is not just a law, it is weapon of Islamic supremacy that has made the lives of the Pakistani Christians unbearable. Generations after generation, this cruel Islamic system continue to crush them with no hope of justice or reform in sight. Thank you so much.